Welcome, folks. Thank you for joining me today. Uh, Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And for all those who have tuned in today, who have subscribed, I want to appreciate you. It's of great pleasure. And yeah, today, before I continue with what I have for you, I want to begin with a small, simple question. I want you to, even if you pause the video, I want you to stop and reflect on the last time you were bored. And by bored, I don't mean by saying um, bored in a way that you didn't have the distractions of your phone, of your smartphone, of your laptop. No, just you are with your thoughts and in your bed, or just think about it. You can pause the video. After you have thought, you can maybe write it down in the comments, and yeah, you just tell me how it felt, because today's topic reflects around that, how um, social media or smartphones have killed our sense of concentration, our sense of self, and even our cognitive ability. So I want to start by introducing the two most crucial parts of the brain, according to the research I did, of course. The first one is the hippocampus, which I believe, I don't know if I have, if I'll be able to show it on the screen somewhere, but it's a bit below like the whole structure of the brain, and it's useful in long-term memory. It's crucial for long-term memory, and it also helps in your ability to focus. So keep that in mind. Hippocampus for long-term memory and critical for maintaining focus. Then prefrontal cortex, which I mean from the word itself, it's the one here at the front. Yeah. So this is crucial for shifting attention in different things, or it's also crucial for when you're shifting between maybe talents or things you love doing. Like, it helps you put your mind to that. Yeah. So this is what it's useful for, and it's also crucial for decision making. Then yeah, those are the two I'll be talking about, and how they correlate with with um with our smartphones, and so I want to talk about how smartphones have affected these parts of our brain, and how what can we do to help uh, against this. The first one is, it's in 2008. Where did I write it? A research was done by Gary Small, who was a psychiatrist, and it was done in 2008, a year after the first iPhone was introduced. He said, I'm going in quotes, the brain circuits involved in face-to-face contact may become weaker. This is a study he did way back, before people saw the real effects smartphones are going to have in our lives. Like, it was just a year after the first smartphone, the iPhone 1, was introduced. He said the brain circuits involved in face-to-face contact may become weaker. This may lead to social awkwardness, isolation, and less interest in traditional classroom learning. And remember, this is a year after the first iPhone was introduced. So, I want to talk about how smartphones affect our attention span, our memory, and also our cognitive ability. Yeah, those three things. Attention span, memory, and cognitive ability. So the first one is attention span. The way these algorithms work, when you download TikTok, I'm going to give a brief example of TikTok. You sign in and that's all. Then you start scrolling. Now the algorithm feeds you what it thinks you like. It can be cat videos, it can be news on celebrities. Then I believe like from the first 50, uh, depending on what you've interacted with most, it can be what you liked, what you commented on, or even the video you saw and it forced you to go on the page. Then with that, it's able to know what you like. Uh, then it starts feeding you that the most. If it's cat videos, it's going to recommend more cat videos because it's what you liked. Now, then another thing, you see the way you scroll through these social media reels, Instagram reels. Have you ever asked yourself why you scroll down and not maybe sideways? Okay, the reason being is that same scrolling down. It mimics the slot machines, the way the slot machines, the way people anticipate results. Okay, because if you have ever used a slot machine, you pull down, then you wait for, if it may be number 7, if it comes 3 times in a row, then you have hit the jackpot. So that is how this social media, because they want to feed your dopamine. Now another topic under that is dopamine. I don't know. Uh, After, have you ever, for those who work out, have you ever that relief you have after maybe going for a jog or um, having a workout, after a workout, that how how good you feel. That's the brain releasing dopamine in your body, and that should be good. But it's not when it becomes a problem when it becomes too much. So what these social media platforms have done, they because they feed you with what you want to see, they keep feeding you with what you want to see. You have this constant feed of dopamine within your body, which is the in reasonable terms, it's really not good, because um, dopamine is something that should be released after, like when you have sought the results of something you want. So if it's something that's being fed constantly, then it loses that feeling of being good, because you always get what you want, and so it starts becoming negative. Now another thing on attention is the average time span of a YouTube, of a Instagram reel, of a TikTok video is 1 minute, maximum 1 minute. It started when it was 30 seconds, but when they updated the app, I mean TikTok, I think it became 1 minute, so I think these days it's more, because I don't have TikTok. I've intentionally refused to download TikTok on my phone, but for my own personal reasons, I have Instagram, I have Snapchat, which I use rarely, and WhatsApp, but TikTok no. So that dopamine I was talking about has, because we feel like if we watch a video and it's not to our liking, then we know we'll go to the next, and maybe you can easily scroll through, right? So how does that kill our attention span? It means our brain is being trained to feel like the moment you don't see something you want, you can easily move on to the next. Now, that's quite different when it comes to real life situations, or even something as long as a YouTube video, which takes 20 minutes, 15 minutes. You'll feel like 20 minutes, you go through the first 5 minutes, feel like not relatable, you move on. And who knows what that video um, would have in mind for you. Yeah, so I think that's a topic that's really extensive and have top researchers doing it. But to me, what I've researched and what I know, that's all I can share with you for today. So I'm going to be moving on to the next, which is I said attention span, then memory. So back in the day, um, there was no GPS. Um, I don't really remember any of it, but according to the research I was doing, is that people used to memorize numbers. Um, or you could easily memorize your friend's number because there was no other way. You could write it down, but maybe if you're going to call him, you'd have to have that paper or that. There are even phone books, okay? And also, for another example that was given was taxi drivers. Taxi drivers at that time, there was no GPS, so they would have to navigate through the city streets just like that. And for this, the this the the study that was carried out showed that taxi drivers had the the biggest hippocampus. Is that right? Yes, they had the biggest hippocampus because the more you train your long term, the more you train your long term memory, or the more you feed your hippocampus, with memorizing things, then the bigger it gets. So it was believed that taxi drivers had the biggest uh, hippocampus because they were able to navigate through because they'd memorized it. But now for today, people have become reliant on GPS, on even on the numbers part. You can just search up somebody's name and it comes up, which has affected uh, memory, the long-term memory part, or the hippocampus of most people. So, and for this, the most reasonable or the easiest thing that has been uh, found to help with this is exercise. So, how does exercise do so? Now, around our brain, we have something called gray matter. Gray matter. This is what protects our brain, from yes, we have the skull, but I think after the skull we have gray matter which covers the brain. Let me just say it covers the brain. Now with this, okay, with this, the more you exercise, the stronger this gray matter or the thicker it gets. So if you don't exercise, then the more it shrinks. Yes. Okay, that was memory. Okay, so moving on, last but not least, we have cognitive ability or function. Now, there is a research that was done to find out the effects having your smartphone in the room while doing something, while doing another task like reading or talking to someone, how it affects this is in correlation with your attention, because you might be in your room saying that you're reading, and you have your phone close by. Now, when you're reading, that means that's where your attention is, okay? But then let's say you immediately receive a notification. Now, because your brain has been maybe trying to focus on because you have not trained your cognitive function to focus on one thing. If it's not something you're really thinking about, that means your attention is immediately shifted. Okay, so that also affects you, because uh, you might think it's something small. You're just going to check that notification, that or that email you received, but diverting your attention from reading to the phone, then back. It's not that easy. Okay, so it's something that's come a long way. I mean, this is something that was introduced in 2007, and how many years down the road, it has had a lot of of effects, good and bad. And it's not to say that the social media companies actually, another one of the videos, actually the research that I did, I'm going to link the articles and the videos in the description. So if you want to find out extensively, just visit the description down. Yeah. Um, so one of the creators, one of the people who are part of the creators of the first phone, said to them it's like a mass. They didn't know the kind of monster which they were building. So you can imagine if the creators themselves are worried of the effects the smartphones are having on society today, how big of a problem it is. Now, another thing I want to talk about is how the smartphones have also affected relationships. We have uh, social social media. I actually don't see how we have social in media, because how does it help you socially? Okay, it instead pulls you away. You become social because you can't tell me that you can I even call it, you're progressing on social media, and then your social life or your social connections are also strong, because the more you're on your phone, the more you're pulled away, and you can't if you want to argue, then I'm open, we can talk about it, but the more you're pulled to your phone, then the more you're socially disconnected from those around you, and this affects relationships. um I think this is another topic for another. This is a topic for another day. But social media has spoiled relationships in a way that families are disconnected. Parents come home, they go on their emails. Children are raised. I think the other day I was watching a video and people are saying children being born in this age are called tablet kids because they're raised by their tablets or their smartphones, which is not good. It's not good. Um, so one of the things, with everything, there's a solution. Okay, the first one I talked about was exercising. Exercising strengthens your brain, strengthens your memory. You have a bigger hippocampus, which is good, and also the smartphone companies have also done their best, because I don't know about the iOS users, but for Android we have screen time, where you can balance between the screen time, or you can even see your average screen time which you had per week, which is good, because if you have that, then it can help you know where to develop. Okay, we also have other focus time. We have the work time, sport time, exercise time. All that is on my smartphone. So that's not to say that the big companies, the phone companies haven't done. They know, and they have also tried to do, but it all comes back to you. Okay, because if you're right here and you don't know that those apps are on your phone, then that's a big problem. Yeah, so I believe that is it for today. Um, Smartphones, a smartphone is not destructive. It's what you do with it that becomes destructive to you, to your life. Because there are people out here who have them, and it's what is making them, it's what is building them. Okay? Yeah, so thank you for everyone for tuning in. I'm glad we are this far. I think we're now at 37 subscribers. I appreciate all of you. More things to come. Um, I, I also talked about something to do with interactive interviews. I'm still thinking about that. I mean, inviting someone over and we share. It can be a colleague, and my age mate. It can be someone older. So anyone who tunes in and wishes to be here, reach out to me. Thank you everyone for tuning in to Conversations with Lupisha. I love you all. Till next time.